Wonderful, wonderful. So, David, okay, David Kantey is here with me tonight, today, or wherever you are in the world, because here in Washington State is about 9:20 at 9, and he is ahead. He comes from the future, and I'm here in the past in Seattle, and he comes from South Africa. David Kantey, I was admiring your work, your paintings, and I have a few questions for you because, as we know, as probably you people that are not familiar with us don't know that we both share the also other than paintings, our artist abilities and passion. We share also the being online marketers. And David, I have a few questions for you. And the first one is, what is your motivation on impressing into canvas your art creations? Talk about your beginnings and experiences that formed you as an artist, if you will.
Okay, so my back history is very unusual. That I started out as a musician. I went to studied at university. I studied classical composition. I did a Bachelor of Music degree to become a professional musician. My interest was musician. And I played the classical guitar as well. I was never a very good pianist. That was something that I'm a bit, I think, a bit sort of musically dyslexic, but it's been the biggest passion of my life since I was, very, very young, and started playing my guitar when I was 12 years old, and I virtually haven't not played on a single day for most of my life. Obviously, there were times, for example, when I was actually in the army for quite a while, and so during that period, I always have a guitar with me. Probably the only period that I didn't play guitar. That's a big part of my life. It's music is something that I have in my life still. I do a lot of recording now. I've built up a little studio at home. But my art career started in a most unusual way. I have always been interested from when I was a very young boy, actually. And that started out of an interest in Sgt. Pepper's, the Beatles album back in the 60s.
Nice.
And their interest in, they'd been to India, they'd met a man called Maharishi, a person who was to them an enlightened man. They went there with Donovan, another musician from the 60s. And I was really interested in that as a very young boy. I was a very wild kid. I grew up in a very nice home, beautiful, relatively wealthy parents, hard-working father, is a civil engineer. And so I was exposed to a lot through them. But I became interested in something very different. And my parents were amazing. They always encouraged us to follow what we loved. And just an incredible quality in them that I'm just so happy to have had as a child. I became pretty wild, as a 14-year-old, doing all those crazy things that we used to do. But I got out of it very quickly. I had an experience on top of a mountain where I realized there was a lot more. I was watching the sun rise over Cape Town, sitting on top of what was a part of Table Mountain. And something happened to me there. And when I came down the mountain, all I wanted to do was find out what that was about. And I heard about something called yoga. Nobody even knew, most people, I talked to everybody. I was that kind of a kid. And in Cape Town was very safe. I used to walk everywhere, hitchhike. And I used to ask everybody about yoga. Long story short, it led to me finding more and more about things that mostly at that stage originated in India, which was odd for people as well because it was not fashionable. I became a vegetarian, and it led me to, when I was 21 years old, a person who became my lifetime mentor started a small experimental community in the area where I live now in 1975. And he actually asked me if I'd like to join it. He thought I'd give a value contribution to the community. And I just wanted to spend time with him. That's how I was. So I just spoke to my parents. I spoke to my uncle who died when he was 101. He had come out of Russia as a Jew trying to escape the sort of what they called the pogrom in those days. And he was kind of a kind of mentoring thing in the whole family. He said, he thinks it's a great idea. If it's really what I'm passionate about, do it. And I just followed it. And my parents were not happy, but they allowed me to go that way. And so I ended up in a community, and the principal focus of that community was spirituality, it was called in those days. We call it personal development now, a fancy name, but it's basically trying to find yourself. And this was the central focus. We needed something to do. There was a very good batik artist in the community, and he taught us all the craft of batik, starting with small things that we would sell. We moved to this town where I live. It's a tourist town, and that town became the source of what would be our income. Tourists would come twice a year. We would make craft at that stage. The artist Peter, who subsequently doesn't do his art anymore, he's a highly creative man. It's such a pity. But we sold stuff to the tourists, and so slowly and slowly we built up this what became a little mini industry in a way, because we started making more and more beautiful garments, principally garments, in batik, which was very unknown the way we did it, because we were using the Indonesian style of batik, which is very, very complex and detailed. And I learned from the bottom up. I was like the old guild method. I was like an apprentice. I started scrubbing dye bars and eventually graduated to the printing blocks of wax called chups, and then moved up. And my mentor very wisely bought me a set of art materials for a birthday at some stage. And I didn't even know why, because I just had never ever tried anything to do with art. And he saw something in me, and he just said, just draw. You're always doodling at the telephone. Just draw and paint, color to it. And then he would just look at them and never commented, just always encouraged me to take it further. And at one point he said to me, why don't you start trying to do, the batik picture side? Because we were developing a secondary layer to our business. We had the top end, the batik pictures of Peter. We had a little ticket item, which was other people in the community were developing themselves as artists, and then we had the material. At that stage, I was handling all the materials that we were producing with a person in the community. So, and I graduated into running that whole department, and it's very technical. I knew how to dye materials at a very, very complex level. So it was a great training ground. And then when I moved into the pictures, they were really not very pretty in the beginning, but always I was encouraged by my mentor to sort of keep developing. And then my biggest passion in life at that stage was dolphins and whales. And I'd had a lot of incredible experiences that are not usual. I don't want to go into that right now, but I was really gifted by life with the most incredible contact with these animals and met the most extraordinary people, ended up speaking at whale and dolphin conferences. But I then obviously wanted to do pictures of dolphins, and it just was the flavor of the month at the time. Everybody wanted my dolphin pictures. They worked very well. And so I became an artist. I didn't even understand, so much of it. But I obviously had that creativity in me, and I wanted to just share a little bit about that in what do I paint? What am I trying to do? So that's the background, and it grew into a career, and then I moved into acrylics, because people don't value batik as an art form in the same way as they do oil painting, acrylics, and watercolors. Yes, it's changed a lot now, but even that was the sort of poorer cousin. So that's the kind of background. How did I get into art? Long story, but that's really how I got into it. And so when the community that we lived in broke apart very amicably, recently after 25 years. And I actually, as an individual, had reached a point where I think I needed to be on my own. My partner and I left together. I met Ellen in the community many, many years later. And we've been together for 30 years now. And then the last 17, going on 18 years, I've been on my own with Ellen, living in this beautiful location, which kind of just came our way miraculously in the same time. And I've been here a very long time. And I developed myself. I changed, I think, very wisely to being an acrylic artist. I was absolutely stunned that immediately that I started painting, I knew how to work with this medium, because the batik had taught me everything I needed to know about color, blending, all those very difficult things. When you do batik as a picture, it's not the same as just dyeing material. It's very, very technical, very complex. So acrylics came so easily. You know, I did a little kingfisher painting, you know, small painting in acrylics, and it was literally like the photo that I'd used. I was absolutely stunned. And how it moved so quickly is that the moment I painted it, it sold. And so there was force helping me. And so I, you know, could transition from being a batik artist with a certain following in the dolphin and whale pictures, because that's all I did. And that trend died. And it's so interesting that I moved into this, you know, intuitively, I guess, into diversifying through acrylics. And everything I did sold. And so I developed a career. And believe it or not,
do you do acrylics? Do you do acrylics only?
Only, and oil. I also obviously studied, I taught myself to paint with oils. I do very big canvases, and I've mastered a certain amount. I mix my own paints because of the batik industry. I understand pigments, what the basis of colors are. And so I make my own paints out of materials from the batik industry, because the batik industry these days uses dyes that are acrylic based. So those pigments work very well in a very, very expensive base made by Dulux paint. And I mix, and I use some tubes, but I can always fall back onto it. Sometimes when I do small detailed pictures, I never have the time anymore to do kind of little things on the side. You know, my career, after I had a very big lull, which leads me to the sort of second part of the questions you've set me up, is about being an affiliate marketer. How did that come to be, and what is my aspiration there? But as an artist, it just rolled along, Marcello, and I've now sort of have a profile in this country. I'm represented, one of your questions, where I'm represented in a fantastic gallery in Cape Town. Over the years, you explore galleries, and one, there are people, you know, who can listen to this recording who are artists. Galleries, you need to find a gallery that really connects with you if you want to get beyond a certain level, because a gallery found me here, and that has been my most successful gallery. Every gallery that I've taken art to, that they sometimes fold, and then I can't get those pictures back. And it's just, I just limit myself to people who I really get a connection with. Yes, it's limiting, possibly financially in some way, but it minimizes the risk. Some paintings take me a month or 2 months to do, and then you lose it. It's a whole chunk of body of and energy and life that you lose. So I'm very, very, and can afford to do it, because in my town here, I consistently get business. And there was a very, really tough period. And I guess it was something maybe internally going on with me as well, where the last 2 years, up until this January actually, have been it was 1 year with no sales the whole year, which is why I got into affiliate marketing. Because I say that on my sales video, something in me snapped, and I decided, and my partner was always encouraged me to do something on the side that would earn an income as well. I've dabbled in internet marketing before in really stupid get-rich schemes, and lost money, you know. I'm always happy to take risks, you know.
Yeah, yeah. I understand that because me too. I am the same way.
We've all done that same stupid thing, and so then the time was right. I watched an ad by the founder of the academy that we both are from, Stuart Ross, and his energy and what he was talking about, personal development in business. This is only the second YouTube ad I've ever watched in my life, and we watch YouTube stuff every single day.
Right.
I just skip ad, and I watched this one. I don't even know why, because I didn't realize it was a business opportunity. I just liked the man, and I liked what he was saying.
Yeah.
And that became.
Who was the person?
Stuart Ross.
Yeah. Well, me too. I mean, when he was talking, I mean, I said, this guy is saying 100% truth, and I believe him, and it is true because he trusts me. It's something special.
Absolutely, and it never changed.
Actually, the first I saw was Chris from the lifestyle team, and Chris was talking about his life, and exactly how I imagine myself being in the future, but in the present tense. And so I said, oh, this guy is talking about what I'm really thinking about myself. So I want this. So I signed up through them. Anyways, very interesting. You know what? Have you read Eckhart Tolle, The Power of Now?
Yeah, of course, I've read.
I am very well. I have the book, and I have the audiobook, and I listened that book about 20 times while driving, and also other books of him. But anyways, yes, I am a vegan, but I cheat sometimes, you know, when I'm with friends and everything. But anyways, I have another question for you, and it says, well, I know now where you physically expose your work. You just tell us. And I also have your links, and the links of David are going to be on the description area. And I'm very glad to share this with my audience. And I know that you are an active SFM, six-figure mentor, affiliate marketer. What is your motivation to add to your life such a high goal? What is your why?
Yeah, so my why is the why of this. I think there are whys and there are whys. I think there's a deeper why, which is something that I don't talk about to a lot of people. It's about understanding myself at a very, very deep level, and that is something slightly different, but it's all interrelated, so it's not different. But my why with SFM particularly is twofold. As an artist, and this is, I guess, I've discovered this along the way, and is that I live a very isolated life. I work on my own every day. My partner, Helen, is a therapist, so she's involved in her private practice, very successful private practice, counseling people through their problems. But so we don't see each other apart from a few minutes in the day, because she also sort of works from home as well as consulting elsewhere. And so I work on my own. I teach art once a week, and I enjoy my own company. I've never, ever felt alone in my life. I don't even know what that means. So the SFM has actually become part of it, is actually interrelating with people like yourself. I actually enjoy people. I find people fascinating. I find everything about them fascinating. And so that was the one aspect. That was one why. I love the fact that I'm interacting with people now around the planet, making really good connections and really getting to know people that I thoroughly enjoy. I like their energy. I like their value system and so on. That's been a huge...
This is what happens to me. This is what happens to me when I see them. I missed only once with the lifestyle team, And all these 4 kids, I love them because, you know, inspiring, very inspiring, and I want to connect with them. I don't follow other times because my work, I work until 2 p.m. and so all the meetings are before that, so I miss all those, like JJ and all the rest. But once a week I meet the lifestyle team, and I love them because they transmit positivity, and you feel like you can do it too.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
So generally, that's one of the whys. I've met amazing people. I'm meeting my own members because my business is slowly growing. And so that's a whole new learning curve for me. I'm learning about people. It's this phase of life in that kind of a way. And so that's part of the whole thing. There's another why, which is I wanted an income that would complement my art, because the art's very up and down. I've just had, you know, for example, the second best month of my entire art career. It just all came together. A hell of a lot of stuff just came together right now. And so that's come out of a long drought. Maybe the two things are feeding each other energy-wise. Doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
The fact that I can be producing an income on the side, complementary, and I love it. I actually now work a certain period of time on my music, a certain period of time on my art, and a certain period of time on this business every day. I'm one of those people, you know, people say, some people it's a lifestyle business.
Mm-hmm.
I have the lifestyle. I live right on a lagoon with the ocean just right there. It's in one of the most beautiful locations in the world. Many people from around the planet arrive here and just have to come back to live here, either buy a house or permanently move here or come here for long periods. Europeans, everybody. You know, a friend of mine took a yacht, traveled around the world with his wife to look for a location where they could settle for the rest of their life. They came back and said, there is nothing on this planet that beats
Right.
And I hear this all the time. So I have the lifestyle. I just want a more stable income. I'm 63. I'm heading into that phase of my life. And, you know, with the up and down, art is very fickle, particularly in I'm sort of not, my pictures aren't cheap locally. And so people need to have a very good level of income, a 6-figure income, in order to afford buying the luxury of my art.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. So it works so well for me in every way. And as it begins to sort of unfold, it's also grown me as a human being. It can't not, because I've had to understand video, how to present myself in video. That's changed me. I have to understand the ups and downs of, you know, just taking the risks, investing in myself in this business. I took my entire life savings and invested in this business because my exchange rate is 14 to 1. So, you know, it's if I just want to buy elite, it's a lot of money that I can use here.
Right.
Going gold, which I did as well, you know, that I needed money and I wanted a marketing budget. I wanted a marketing budget for a long time. So I've always looked at, I need a marketing budget. Like my business is working now, but I wanted to grow it. So I want a marketing budget for the next sort of 6-7 months and try and scale the small growing business. So I'm always thinking long term. Everything in my life. I believe in those 10,000 hours put in the work.
Yeah, I really appreciate that because, and I repeat for whoever is watching, in the description area, you will find his links, David's links, also the affiliate marketing links, and also mine. And it's good that we show this because you are inspiring, David, to me and to many people that are listening. So I have another question. This is important. Okay, tell us about those moments, if ever, where you feel doubt, frustration, or maybe you feel that the stop lifestyle is too much of high accomplishment. And how do you get back on track?
Okay, so that is a really, really, really important question. And I love the fact that you put it in these questions, Marcello, because it's not always about the good things. You know, I have to say I've had a very privileged, very, very privileged life, the way it's unfolded for me. I made a lot of very conscious choices, including with my partner, how we were going to construct our life. So that helped. But the question of the difficult times that you face, every single human being goes through, unless you're very, very unusual, you know, about something in yourself that is beyond the sort of pull and push of our emotional body. So, because that's really what it is. It's mostly around our survival needs. Let's face it, you know, we can talk personal development till we're blue in the face, but if you haven't got a meal, you really can't even look at that. You've got to have the basics. I think there's a man called Maslow who had this sort of hierarchy of needs. The basics have to be looked after. When you don't have a meal, an energy takes over, a sort of animal energy to survive. And we are always somewhere between survival and a higher aspect of ourselves, which is our forebrain, which has other needs, social needs, and deeper needs. We are always more than just the physical, mental, emotional.
Mm-hmm.
We are something else. There's another factor here that is you can't ignore. You think you can ignore it, but you can't, because we are created by a source, by life.
Mm-hmm.
And that energy is operating in us as well, and it has its own needs. It's different to, and it includes survival, because it is also survival. So
yeah,
my highs and lows have been a lot, you know, around two aspects. My own, I suffered for some reason as a child with a certain level of depression. It was not massive, but it was enough to impact my life. A sort of a heaviness that would descend on me. And at one point, I even really weirdly, when I was under a lot of pressure in my life, in the community as a young man, I even reached a point in a sort of a down period where I kind of thought, shit, I don't want to live. That's a really tough place to face in yourself. So it's not as though I'm unfamiliar with this. You know, everything looks rosy when I sort of describe my life and what I've had. But everything revolves around how you face all these complex emotions in ourselves. Being in a relationship for 30 years, you know, I'm not a kind of a person who believes any more in romance. I think it's a lot of compulsive behavior that is driven by forces that are set up when we're a child. I think when you get into a decent relationship with somebody, you grow and develop within yourself. And the more I change within myself and get to know David's core, the more my relationship with my partner gets more and more harmonious and amazing. And there's a depth and a connection with that person I have with no other person on this planet. And it's taken a long time to get there. We're both very hot-headed people. And so it's taken a lot of time for us to work through our childhood nonsense. And so, you know, that becomes a part of how you grow as a person. So that is really, I've kind of got off a bit off track here on my rant, but it's about, you know, what is tough. It's tough facing all those aspects of myself. Really tough in the times and overcoming that sort of depressive side of self. My partner is a therapist, and she's quite hard with me, so, you know, get over yourself. And so I've had to sit, and when my business took a massive downturn, there were times when I sat on the lagoon here in front of the home, and I actually just, the fear and the, you know, that we could lose this home, that we would have to go and stay in the little flat we've got in town, which is amazing. You know, I have to stay in a hut somewhere. But you don't tend to see that. You just tend to feel your survival needs. So I've had to deal with them. And dealing them is about just being with them.
right.
Not trying to them away. I'm not a big Tony Robbins fan and all this kind of American hype around dealing with your emotions. It works. I'm not knocking it. It doesn't work for me. I need to face myself and find a way to just be with myself, and then my being takes care of it somehow. So by sitting with my bad feelings, my depressed feelings, it's just drifted away. I haven't tried to push it away, or be positive, or try and be any bloody thing. I'm not trying to be a leader. I'm just trying to find David, and it's working. That's the point.
Right.
I don't have those feelings, highs and lows, with the same intensity anymore. It's more a steady keel. That takes work. It takes a lot of introspection, a lot of sitting with your pain. And slowly you notice the pain comes and it goes. The gift that I have, which I think you must have, Marcello, as well, is that when I'm at the canvas, I get involved. And I have a few little things here that I wanted to share. I love the whole aspect of let me see if we can see this. I love the whole aspect of
beautiful.
Of what happens on the canvas. These are little relatively easy to control blocks. They're not particularly pictures, they're just abstract, beautiful things. But I get involved in these textures, the whole detail, with great intensity. And by the time I've worked for an hour or two on the canvas, I'm feeling amazing. And then suddenly I remember my financial position at the moment, which was scary. And I get panicky, and all those feelings arrive again. So and what my partner keeps saying to you, it is a brain thing. It belongs to the body.
Yeah.
Change the body. And the best way to change it is just to be with it. And it changes, it grows, and so that becomes what that is. So how have I dealt with these feelings? By sitting with them.
So, okay, David, so the next question is, tell us how you see yourself in the future, in the near future.
Okay, so it's a twofold question because, as I mentioned, I have the lifestyle that I wanted. We've molded in that way. So my aspect of what I'm wanting out of my life going forward is already unfolding. I want to be able to interact with people like yourself, get to know people that are completely outside my sphere of what I normally have in my life here. And also to grow myself as an artist and a musician. I'm currently working on my first dedicated guitar CD. I have another CD that sold really well.
No way.
Yeah, it's an orchestral sort of, I guess some people, it leans towards what people call New Age. I don't really like that term. And it's available. I should actually put that link send it to you as well. It's on Bandcamp, and that has done well for itself within the scope that I've marketed it. But so all these things are aspects I want to grow. So I've just now committed time now. The CDs take me a long time to put together. I'm a very, very fiddly, demanding musician of myself. I don't want to have something out there that I'm going to regret one day. And the first CD I did took me 2,000 hours to finish. And that's the kind of dedication that I'm prepared to put into a product. And I'm starting the journey of the second one, the guitar. It's more guitar-based. The emphasis is on the guitar and instrumentation with a very different feel. So there's that. And then the affiliate business that we're doing together, I want to start scaling. I have a small business, and it kind of is working. I don't generate masses of leads every day, but they're very quality leads, and so I get business out of it. And I want to develop it. I want to grow it. I want to grow that income stream. I don't actually have a goal with it. I'm currently at the one level. I'd like to be able to invest to get to the last two levels in the business, so that I can experience that aspect of business. Branding, the one thing that they have is an incredible branding platform. at their platinum level. And at the black level is a level of business, huge view of business as a whole. That is something that I would like to learn. It's something, I've never focused on the business side of things other than managing to keep everything rolling along. This is now a completely different view of the world, and it fascinates me. It's just, that's really what it is. I can survive here. I can manage. I can get by. But there are things that I would, it's not really about the money, although the money will smooth out a certain aspect of my life, and already is. That is allowing that sort of survival need to be not as pressing in me, although I think I've dealt with it on its own. I don't really know. I've faced it so much in myself that I have no fear around survival anymore. I've lived in the army in a tent in the bush, and with bombs raining around me. Get through that, you can get through anything. And so I don't have that kind of a fear, but I just love where I live. I guess that's spot. And there's, you want to be good enough. When your income is not there, you think, well, am I good enough as an artist? Things play on you. But I think I faced that demon. So yeah, I would just want to grow this whole thing that is David Kantey's life and lifestyle expression to a different learning curve. And I like to be challenged. It's challenged me like it's challenged you.
Yeah.
That's good for me.
I always said to myself that the only thing that can stop me is just my brain, right? And the fear. I am rereading Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill, and so I had also the audio in my car. So when I go to work and back and forth, and always I bombard in my brain, my subconscious mind, with these concepts again. I've been a minister when I was in Italy. I lived in Italy 20 years, and 15 years of that was a minister. So in
the Catholic Church?
No, I was a Protestant. And I believe that the path to God is from the skin in, is within us.
Lovely way of putting it. Wow.
So going inside yourself, you find everything that you need. And this is different than what I was preaching then, because we grew up with the concept that the something outside us is the subject of salvation. And I believe now, and I feel now, that is within us, is the path is inside, and so go deep inside. And one of the beliefs that I also is related with the new concept of having passive income is that we grew up in most people in a culture that to have more money, you need to work more. You need to exchange the time of your life for money. And that doesn't change until once don't hit the wall so many times and question yourself so many times. And just short, I will tell you what's my why before we finish. I have 2 kids in Italy, my 2 older boys, 28 and 23, that I see every other year. And I work in a place that I have only 2 weeks of vacation, so I suffer so much. And I have family in Argentina, and I don't see them so very often. So I say, stop, I don't want this anymore. So I'm going to work, because money, as you said, is a consequence. But what I'm working on is freedom and happiness. And I am actually a happy guy. I'm always smiling. And I'm here in the States because I have an 8-year-old boy here, living here. So I don't want to leave. I don't want to leave at all this place, because I want him to grow with me. But um, I know that there is something better, so that's why I'm working on this. And I'm stubborn. I know that when I want something, I get this. Anyways, David Kantey, and thank you very much. And do you have last words that you want to say in this meeting?
Echoing what you've just shared with you include that in the interview, because that's a lovely thing you've just shared about yourself. Yes, very much so, that believing in oneself is a huge part of it, but I think you've got to discover what that is, and that is exactly as you put it, a journey from the skin deeper. And I think until you reach that point in your life, you're always looking for something external to fix you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You name it. Even if it is family, you want the family to fix you. The real journey that I have discovered in my life is that it's from the skin deeper. When I fix David at a very deep level, and that is a practice that you have to find your way to embrace that,
Mm-hmm.
then something changes, a fundamental shift starts happening, and everything about your life takes on a different quality. I think, you discover that gratitude and appreciation for life, appreciation for people, starts springing up within you because you are focused on life. Not you're focused on yourself as a piece of life, and the natural appreciation for everything around you just grows exponentially. I think you can practice gratitude as an exercise because it's a very good one. It gets you out of your head, because we spend so much time in our mind doing all the nonsense that we do, and we've got to put some brakes on that. So practicing gratitude every day is a really, really fantastic exercise. But the real depth for me has been, as that shifts backwards into the skin, what is the source of gratitude? It lies within Marcello, it lies within David. And so when I do that work, JJ, who's one of the mentors in our system, has this wonderful thing he says, happiness ensues. It's an English word that means it follows as a result of. And I think that's the challenge most people don't want to take on. Mm-hmm. We want to have the beautiful pictures you have, or you want to be like David Kantey and paint like me, or swim with whales and dolphins, or all these things. But what are we doing to get there as a human being? What are we doing within ourselves? And so that's my last words, that everybody who has to listen to this, the work lies within yourself. There is nothing else.
Right.
All the rest springs out of that. We can do a lot of stuff. You can become the president of America. But are you a happy, deeply content person? Deeply, I mean literally, that you can sit on your own and you're totally at peace with your life. That's the only yardstick I have, and I want to find that. I know it exists. I've touched it. You've touched it.
Uh-huh.
You felt something in Vancouver that you got so inspired by now, you're almost in tears about it. That place should be a permanent part of our life, like when we were children. Why do we go backwards?
Uh-huh.
Aren't we more happy than when we were 6?
Mm-hmm.
It's a crazy way we live.
Right.
And it doesn't make sense to me. I was such a happy little kid at one point in my life. And then some stuff descended on me. I don't know what happened.
There is the worst feeling a man can have, or a woman, is fear. Yeah. The worst. And so then fear is not the fear like in your country, for example. You go out the country and a lion attack you, and that's most instinct to run away, right? But when you are in your own house and you start imagining things that might happen, and you start feeling that in your body, and you start feeling that, that's the fear that I'm talking about, the creation of illusions that might stop you for doing what you have to do, right? So, and that's why you and me are here in this video, to share this amazing conversation. And I really, yeah, absolutely.
Very inspiring.
Yeah, yeah. David, thank you very much for being here. And I tell you good morning, and you tell me good evening and good night, because in a little bit I'm going to sleep. But I'm going to post this video tonight, so I don't work tomorrow morning. I don't. So I will be up. And see you Tuesday, Wednesday, your Wednesday, okay?
What time do you get onto that meeting on Tuesday?
It's 6 p.m.
4 a.m. in the morning for me.
Yeah, you have to get up early, huh? Okay.
All right, Marcello.
David Kantey, have a wonderful day. Enjoy your day with your friends and your wife, and talk to you next time.
Right,
and I repeat, all the people that are watching this, please go down to the description area. You will find David's links and all his amazing work. Thank you.
Thanks, Marcello. Thanks again for inviting me.
Good night. Good morning. Good afternoon.
Good night.